welcome to Real Estate Update. I'm McNair with James Wedgeworth. We're doing a special edition today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Every time I see you say, yeah, I've been on the island more than 40 years. So we thought, someone in particular here at HHI said, wouldn't it be great to have James talk about what it was like then, what changes you've seen, because you've seen a lot.
Yeah, it's specifically changes in the real estate market. I moved here in '81, and I think there were about 105 realtors on Hilton Head. We had a multiple list service, but we didn't have a multiple list book. It was a hot sheet. You just had a sheet of paper, and people would come in your office and say, here's what we're interested in, and you'd pull out your sheet of paper and say, well, we got this one and this one. There wasn't much here then,
right?
You know, and that's just the way we sell real estate.
A lot different than it is today. You actually brought in this multiple listing service book. You said you had a hard time finding it, but you came up with one from 1984.
I came up with one from 1984, and I from time to time will show people the way we used to do it. I was just looking at this one, in Sea Pines, there's a fifth row house at $199,000 in 1984. And I remember in '83 we sold an oceanfront house in Sea Pines for $550, and everybody was so excited.
So that would be maybe the memory of your first over $500,000 home, huh?
A big deal.
I want to ask you, do you remember the first time you sold that $1 million home?
Yeah, I do. I specifically remember it was a really, really nice oceanfront house in Port Royal. It was my first sale over $1 million. But the one that really excited me is I sold the first $3 million house on Hilton. It was an oceanfront house in Sea Pines, sold for $3.3. The guy that built it's still here on the island. We talk about that. And I recently resold that $3.3 million house. I forget what we sold it for, about $8 million or something like that.
It's incredible. And it's so funny looking at this MLS, how you said, well, there weren't a lot of pictures, and there weren't some of these just have like a drawing and it says home.
A few of them had one picture.
Yeah.
Most of them just had an address and the showing instructions, how to show, what company to call. And keep in mind that the purchaser didn't have access to this.
Right, it was you. I mean, the real estate.
We had all the information. The purchaser would look at the real estate guides or the island packet, and they'd bring in a piece of paper and say, we want to see this house. But they basically had no information because we didn't have any internet or anything. Wow. It was totally different. I never will forget the first time we got the first MLS. Each office had one computer, and it was those ears that you put on, and it would buzz, and it was on that slick paper, and it would print out what was available.
Right. And
there was only one per office, so you had to wait your turn to get on. I never will forget, we had an agent that worked with us. He came in my office, and he said, this technology is killing me. I'm too old for this. I'm retired. And I think, wow, if he was in the business today, he would really think he's still
old. Yeah, he'd be a little overwhelmed. Because
he said, I don't like the direction it's going. Yeah. We're losing the personal touch.
Can't stop progress, that's for sure. When you look back, I know you looked at the cover of this, how have each of the developments or, plantations or whatever you would like to call them, how has that changed as far as what was physically here on the island?
If you look at the front of this multiple list book, it says serving the whole island, which in 1984 was Sea Pines Shipyard, Palmetto Dunes, Port Royal, Hilton Plantation, Moss Creek, and Spanish Wells. We didn't have Indigo Run, Palmetto Hall, didn't have Windmill Harbor, didn't have Westford, Long Cove. So as those developments came on, the amount of inventory increased. In fact, I can remember a buddy of mine saying that when they first started showing property in Hilton Plantation, you went to the gate and they had a security guy drive you around.
Oh my gosh.
Because there weren't street signs yet or something.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. Times have changed for sure. We're already going to take our first break, but when we come back, I know you have a lot more recollections about the good times, the bad times, as far as real estate. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
We will be right back.